Hey guys, so today's video is going to be about EPIK, and it's probably going to be more informative than it is entertaining. So for those of you looking for something entertaining, probably go watch someone else's channel. But if you're interested in teaching Korea and wanting to know more about EPIK, please stay tuned. I also suggest that you watch other people's videos about applying to EPIK. They may have different suggestions, even different information, and different experiences from other people. That way you have kind of a roundabout idea of what to expect when applying to EPIK. For my experiences, I've applied twice to EPIK, 2 times. The first time I did it with a recruiter, and then the second time I did it with EPIK, just straight to EPIK. If this is your first time applying, I suggest you use a recruiter. They're going to be really helpful, and they're going to be there to answer all your questions that you have, because you're going to have a bunch of questions, and they'll help you throughout the entire process. Some of the recruiters even help you do a mock interview, so I think that's really great. If you go on the EPIK website, you can find a list of current recruiters that they are working with, and then other list of certain colleges actually that will help you as well. So if that's your college, you can probably find out more information at your school. First, I want to talk about eligibility, just like the main things you need to be or to have to even start applying. First, you need to be a citizen of the 7 following countries: Australia, Canada, Ireland, New Zealand, United Kingdom, United States, and South Africa. Now, there are exceptions to this. Let's say you lived abroad, but you went to school in an international school. They may make an exception for that. You just have to ask them and let them know about your situation. Or if you were born in another country but lived in one of these 7 English-speaking countries and you went to school from at least the 7th grade, middle school, junior high school, up until you graduated and then went to a college, university, and received a 4-year degree in one of those 7 speaking English countries, you just have to email EPIK and ask them and let them know about your situation, and then they'll let you know if you're qualified or not. The second requirement is you have to have a bachelor's degree, a 4-year, 3-year degree received from one of those 7 English-speaking countries. It can be in any field, it does not matter. But it is a plus if you majored in education, linguistics, or English. It doesn't mean that you'll have an edge when it comes to hiring. It just means that when it comes to your pay scale, you're going to be a little bit higher than those who aren't. And for the third thing, this isn't something that is required, but I highly suggest that you take the TOEFL, TESOL, or CELTA courses to get the certificate, because it feels like it's going to be a requirement at some point. They might as well make it, because almost everyone I know has it or is taking the course and has received the certificate. Mainly for those who are not in English or linguistics or education major, I suggest you take these courses. You can do it online, you can go to the class, whatever works best for you. Okay, next up, required documents. I'm an American citizen, so I'm going to be speaking from that point of view. I know from other countries, they may require additional documents proving that you went to an English-speaking school, or like obtaining the documents may be a little bit different. So stick around, there still might be some useful information, but definitely stick around if you're American. So the application form itself. The form starts out asking just the basic questions, just the information about you. And then they ask about your school history from like elementary up until you graduated university. And trying to remember those dates from when you went to school, and if you moved a lot, what schools you went to, was a bit stressful. Then on the application, they will ask about your placement preference, so where you'd like to stay. Please make sure you do your research about where you'd like to stay. If you don't care, then you don't care. But if you have an idea of what kind of lifestyle you want, if you want to live in the countryside because you prefer the fresh air and the quiet, that's great. But if you want to live near the city where all the action is and where you can get access to foreign foods when you really crave it, then you might want to check up and see what areas of Korea you'd like to be in. Towards the end of the application, they will have a self-health assessment for you to fill out. It might be a bit weird. Some of the questions may be a bit personal. I mean, if you want the job, just go ahead and fill it out, honestly. They'll ask you if you smoke, how often you drink, and if you have any tattoos. And then they'll ask where the tattoos are. I don't know whose business that is, but it's on there. You do as you please. You fill it out however you feel like filling it out. And then the last two parts of the application are probably gonna be the most stressful parts. It's the essay portion and then the lesson plan. First, the essay portion. The first time I applied to EPIK, the application for the essay part was just one essay, and I just had to touch up on these 3 subjects. But this most recent time that I applied, it's 3 separate essays. So it's pretty much the same questions, but just 3 separate parts. The first question asks, why do you want to teach English in Korea? I suggest you don't say things like,
oh, I love K-pop and I just love K-dramas. I'm hoping to meet my favorite Korean idol and, you know, that's why.
Definitely don't say that. Be honest, but make it pretty. You want to say things like you want to live in Korea for yourself to get experience living abroad in another country. You want to get out of your comfort zone and you want to do something completely different. You're interested in Korean culture, Korean fashion, Korean food, things of that nature. And then they might ask if you listen to any K-pop, and if they ask, just, you know, you can fangirl a little bit, not too much, don't go crazy. The other question they'll ask you is, how will you handle culture shock, cultural differences? And the reason they ask this is because some people come here and they can't handle it. They can't take the difference. They don't like it. It's too different for them. They're away from home. On one level, I understand, but really, like, what were you expecting? You came all the way over here. It's not gonna be like home. It's gonna be completely different. So think about that. Think about how you will actually handle the culture shock. If it comes to the point where you're just like, this is too different, what will you do? So actually think about that and then just write it out. That part should be easy. And then the last thing they ask you is to explain your educational philosophy. What? I don't know. I don't know what those words mean, but you can definitely find information online for some examples, not copy and paste, but for some ideas for you to think of your own educational philosophy. If you ask me what mine is, I cannot tell you. I have to go back to my application and look. And then the very last part is the lesson plan. It's not as bad as it seems if you've never done one before. Just go online, look for examples. The lesson plan you should try to do is one for elementary school students. So it shouldn't be too difficult. Just make it fun. Make sure you hit all the key points with like the objective, materials you need, and then the content, how you're going to teach it, and then how you're just going to wrap it up. It's not that difficult. It's just getting started is what's probably most difficult. So that was just the application. That was just the first document. You will also need a copy of your passport information page. In fact, you're going to want to make a few copies of all your documents, but I'll get to that. You're going to need passport size photos, and you're gonna need quite a few. I think I ordered 6 and they're not cheap. So make sure you look good, you look nice, and it's the ones that you like, that you're satisfied with. Order, I would say 4 at the very least. I ordered 6 just to be safe because you're gonna need them to put on your applications and put them for other documents. What was it? Oh, your alien registration card when you get to Korea. And also make sure you check the sizes because Korean passport size is different from everywhere else. I should have mentioned this first, but if you are from the States, you need to order your criminal record check, your background check first before you even apply. You need to do this way in advance because it's gonna take 2 to 3 months to get that back. The reason being is because America now needs a national criminal record check. What had happened in the past was somebody could have a criminal record in one state and then move and then get a criminal record check in their new state and then it'd be clean. So they need one for the entire country and that takes some time. So you need to do that first. What I suggest is, listen to me, what I suggest is you get at least 2 copies of your fingerprints. Do it at least 2 times. The very first time I applied, I only sent 1 copy and my prints weren't legible. And it took them 2 months to send back a letter saying that they weren't legible. So I was like freaking out. So I suggest at least 2 copies, 3 to be safe, and do it way in advance. Do it before you even fill out your application. Next, you're gonna need a copy of your diploma. Once you get a copy of that and your CRC, you're gonna have to get those notarized, which is like an official copy by a notarizer. Just look online on Google and type in local notarizer. And then there will be somebody in your town, in your city that can do that. They're just saying that the copy is a copy of the original and it's real. It's real life. So you get that notarized and then you send it off to get an apostille seal. You will need a couple of sealed transcripts from your university, 2 recommendation letters, preferably 1 academic and then 1 professional, and then any other additional documents that you can send that will help you, like copies of your TESOL, TEFL, or CELTA. I myself, the second time I applied, because I had teaching experience in Busan, I had to get a proof of teaching certificate from my old school, which is really interesting because I never thought I would have to contact to that school, but they were really nice. It happened and I got the proof of teaching certificate, which it didn't like help me get the job, it just bumped me up on the pay scale, which was really great. So anything like the TESOL or anything that can help you bump up yourself on the pay scale, you should definitely do it, even if it's a pain to get those documents. Next, I want to talk about timing. You are going to want to do this 5 to 6 months in advance. Like, just start thinking about it and then start doing it then. Like I said, you need to apply for the criminal record check, and then you're going to have to start filling out the application and getting all your documents together. You're going to need a lot of time to get all of your paperwork together. The reason why you need a lot of time is because there's a lot of waiting time. You're going to be waiting for documents to be coming in, you're going to be sending in documents, and you're going to be waiting for them to respond and to let you know where you're going to be placed. Now I want to talk to you guys about the interview process. So you're starting to get your documents together, things are coming along, you're keeping in contact with your recruiter or the EPIK recruiter, letting them know that you're still interested after these few months have gone by, and you're still getting your documents together, and so they set you up with an interview. Before the interview begins, I suggest you go online and just type in EPIK interview questions and go through them and see how you would answer some of these questions. The interview will be over Skype. I suggest you wear something appropriate, something at least business casual. Make sure the area you're going to be Skyping in is going to be quiet and that you have stable internet connection. Another thing I suggest about your interview is that you have decent lighting. I know it's not like a requirement, but because I make these videos, I have these lights here. So I use the lights during the interview. And so it was well lit. It just looked nice, but if you can just get in front of a window while you're doing the interview, I think that'll be great. After the actual interview, they will ask if you have any questions. Go ahead and ask all the questions you have. And then your EPIK interviewer will let you know what you can tweak on your application, some things that you may need to fix before they send it off to SMOE. Somewhere down the line, they'll let you know if you passed the interview or not. And then this is when you really need to get all your paperwork together and get them in order. They will send you an email letting you know what order they want all the documents in. Before you send them in, they're going to want you to make copies. So they're going to need the originals and then copies. And I suggest you make another set of copies for yourself to keep just in case. It's funny because I've done this 2 times, but I didn't think about cost. There's no fee to apply, and if you use a recruiter, they shouldn't charge you. If they charge you, then you need to find a different recruiter. But you have to buy passports, you have to make those copies, you have to get your transcripts, and you have to send the documents all the way to Korea. And you want to send them with something that has a tracking number and that's really going to get there, or at least that you know is going to get there. So sending stuff overseas is not really cheap. And then on top of that, if you decide to take the courses with TEFL, TESOL, or CELTA, that costs money too, and it depends how you want to do that. If you just want to do the online courses, they're going to be cheaper, but still not cheap. And if you want to do the in-class ones, those are not cheap. So you have all your documents together, you're ready to send them. They are in order of how they ask them. You have the copies also in order, and then you have your copies. So you send them, and now you play the waiting game, which is like the worst. So once they receive your documents, they will send you a point of notification and a contract for you to sign. Yes, no. I don't remember this part, it's a little bit blurry, but you will get a notice of appointment and then your contract. This is where you have to go to the Korean consulate in your country, state, wherever you are, however it works for you. So with those documents that you receive from EPIK, you will go to the Korean consulate and apply for your E2 visa, F4 visa if you are of Korean descent, Korean ethnicity. You will go apply with those 2 documents. Both times I applied, I went in person. I'm not quite sure if you can just send the documents and then have them send it back. I think they can do that, but I just happen to be there. If you happen to live somewhere where you have a Korean consulate, that's really easy. You can just go in person, but if you don't, I'm pretty sure you can just send it in, but make sure with the Korean consulate first. So this process did not take long. I think I only waited a couple of days and then they gave me my visa on my passport. So it was really easy. Just make sure you have those documents that they send you from Korea, from EPIK. So great, you've made it through the past 5 to 6 months, and you've also been trying to live your life on a regular basis while trying to apply to all these things. You've been working so hard to apply that you forget that, oh wait, I have to leave. It's time to go. This is when you need to really just get it together. You know, tie your loose ends, make sure your bank knows that you're leaving and all those things, your cell phone company, if you have car payments and stuff like that. I don't know, however, you just have to do all of that kind of in a short amount of time. Things just go by real quick, and then you're like on the plane, you're sitting on the plane and you're like, where am I going? What's going on? Say goodbye to your family, say bye to your friends, make sure you have all the things you need. Make sure you do your research before you go about certain things they sell, they don't sell here. I'll probably make another video about that. After that, it's just ready to go live in Korea and experience what Korea has to offer. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful to somebody. If it was helpful to somebody, please give it a thumbs up. If you're not already, please go ahead and subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on Snapchat, Instagram, and Tumblr. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!